Viewers of Entrepreneurship Couch, welcome to today's show. On today's show, we are going to discuss some entrepreneurship tips that we have discovered are very critical for those that are aspiring to run their own businesses as well as those that are already running their business. Before I can get into today's subject matter, I would want to urge all our viewers and subscribers to make sure that they watch this particular show right up to the end. What are the things that we are going to discuss? We have discovered that there are a number of basic things that every entrepreneur has got to observe and adhere to. Chief amongst these things is the ability to understand basic financial literacy. We have discovered that there is never going to be a successful entrepreneur who can run a successful business without understanding figures. Figures are very key for every entrepreneur to be successful. Basic performance and measurement of every business can only be understood when they've been put in the context of figures. What is it that we also need to understand? When we're talking about figures, we're talking about addition and subtraction. I know for a number of people, they've always said one needs to understand the actual construction of financial statements. But in one of the shows that are going to come, we are going to demystify the understanding of financial statements. There's not much that is involved when one is talking about financial statements. But for today's subject matter, we just want to dwell on financial literacy. Why should one understand financial literacy? As we've indicated earlier on, you cannot run a successful business when you do not pay particular attention to your figures. But let's briefly look at some of the figures that one needs to understand when you are running your business. Chief amongst these figures is what we term revenue. Revenue refers to the sales that one generates when you are running your business. So one needs to understand what is revenue, or the total sales that a business is generating. Apart from revenue, one also needs to understand the cost of sales. The cost of sales is the actual cost that can be attributed towards the buying or bringing in of a particular service. Again, one needs to understand overheads. Because when you are running a business, if you are going to be able to calculate profit, you need to understand how you have been generating your overheads and to what extent your overheads are affecting your revenue. So it is always very critical for everyone who is running business to make sure that you have got all the critical figures on the fingertips. We have always argued and said, if you are going to understand that one is well conversant with the type of business that he is running, he needs to make sure that he has got all the critical figures on his fingertips. One is going to be able to tell you the amount of rent that he is paying. One is going to be able to tell you the amount of salaries and wages that he is paying. So if you are going to be a successful entrepreneur, you need to make sure that you cannot avoid figures. You have got to make sure that you always understand your figures. As we have also indicated before, once one can tell the total sales, which is termed revenue, that a business is generating, you also need to be able to calculate profit. Every business is run for one to get profit. But a lot of people do not also understand that you cannot talk of gross profit without looking at net profit. Or sometimes the amount of money that you are generating as revenue doesn't necessarily mean that you are making a profit. One can be running a business, generating a lot of revenue, to the even extent of generating gross profit, but fail to generate enough or adequate net profit. So these things are very key. There's never going to be a successful business person who is going to succeed without understanding these basic key figures when you want to be successful. But not only that, we also want to share with you what are some of the things that can make people successful when they are running their business. Chief amongst these things is the issue to do with the capacity and the skills to do with sales. Every business person has got to be a salesman. you've got to have basic understanding of marketing. Because if you are going to start and run a business, before your business has grown, you are going to be involved in marketing and sales of your products and services. And you cannot convince people to buy your product or your services when you are not a good salesperson. So one has got to have very good marketing skills. One has got to have very good sales skills. One has got to be a very good negotiator. Because along the way, when you are running your business, you are going to be expected to negotiate with a number of people. When it comes to negotiation, you are going to realize that you need negotiation skills when you are going to negotiate with the various stakeholders of your business. When we are talking of various stakeholders of your business, we're talking about employees. You are going to employ. You are going to need a place to rent from. So the place where you are going to rent from means your landlord is a key stakeholder to your business. The employees that you are going to engage are key stakeholders to your business. So sales negotiation skills are amongst the key components that every entrepreneur has got to develop. Other things that one has got also to develop is patience and persistence. If you are not patient enough and if you are not persistent, you will end up being frustrated when you are running your business. It is critical for people to be patient, because along the course of running your business, you are going to be frustrated. You are going to come across situations that requires you to be persistent. For example, if you are going to go about selling your products or services, a number of people are going to close their doors, are going to slam their doors. But you need to keep on going up until you succeed. The other thing that a successful entrepreneur has got to realize and do is the culture of reading. If you are going to be a successful entrepreneur, you've got to realize that you've got to read a lot. What are some of the things that you've got to read? You've got to read about current affairs. You've got to read about information to do with the particular sector that you are in. You've got to read around the current local, regional, and international legislation that may affect the particular business that you are running. There's never going to be a successful entrepreneur, a successful business person who does not read. Earlier on, we had talked about education. People should never confuse the difference between education and reading around your business. So for all those that are aspiring to run businesses and those that are already running their businesses, financial literacy is key. Understanding the key figures of your business is also key. And we have said you need to be a reader. You need to always read around your business, read around your sector. Viewers, we are very grateful for your continued support. Please continue watching our channel and continue to subscribe. Please keep safe.